today?
Yes.
Speaking of Tony nominees.
What a great lady.
I love Betty Buckley so much.
Too.
She first writes her first Broadway show, 1776, now
right.
revived on Broadway.
That's right.
She was in that. Sounds just like her.
Yeah. Did you stop it? Oh, you stopped it.
Yeah, I stopped it.
Okay.
You thought that was Betty? Shut up. But she's delicious. She's here. She's nominated for a Tony, and we're giving away her CD, Much More, to everyone.
Oh, cool.
Betty Buckley.
Time drifted past, my safe sweetheart.
Television and film audiences have been familiar with our first guest since her days as Abby on 8 is Enough, but Broadway fans always claim her as their own. She won her first Tony Award for her incredible performance as Grisabella in the hit musical Cats, and is nominated this year for Triumph of Love. Here to perform the title song from her CD, Much More, is Betty Buckley.
I'd like to swim in a clear blue stream where the water is icy cold. Then go to town in a golden gown and have my fortune told. Just once, just once before I'm old, I'd like to be not evil, but a little worldly wise. To be the kind of girl designed to be kissed upon the eyes. I'd like to dance till 2 o'clock, or sometimes dance till dawn. Or if the band could stand it, just go on and on and on. Just once, before the chance is gone, I'd like to waste a week or two and never do a chore. To wear my hair unfastened so it billows to the floor. To do the things I've dreamed about and never done before. Perhaps I'm bad or wild or mad with lots of grief in store. But I want much more than keeping house. Much more, much more.
Buckley, congratulations on your Tony nomination.
Thanks.
You excited?
Yeah.
Do you get nervous at those events?
Oh, yeah. The first, well, I was nominated, for Cats, and I was the favorite to win, and I was terrified that I wouldn't win because we'd had 8 nominations, and I was afraid I'd be the one that, didn't win.
Right.
And thank God, I was like sitting there, and the producers kept looking at me going, like,
right.
And I had on this sequin dress, that kept like snagging my hose, and my vision of myself, if I won, was that my hose would be all run, you know, and I'd walk.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
No, they call my name, and I'm like, my hose, and then I'm walking to this, and I'm like, stairs, oh my God, stairs, you know. Whoa, you know. And then I'm like, looking up there, I'm trying to remember to thank everybody I'm supposed to thank, and the lights flashing, you know, and I'm like, I'm gonna thank all the cats and the producers, and my mother and my brother Norman and my other brothers, and my brothers were like, your other brothers, you know? I couldn't remember the names Pat and Mike, you know.
Oh.
And they hold me to this day.
I'll
and they're
bet.
like, if you win this year, you better say our names.
Exactly.
You know? Like Pat and Mike.
It's like at the end of Gilligan's Island when they just said, and the rest. Remember that? They never said the Professor and Mary Ann. It was bad news. Now, have you seen the other shows that are out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exciting year for Broadway, isn't it?
Unbelievable. And all that's due to you know.
Oh, no, come on now.
Well, I mean...
Well, listen, I love it. I'm just happy that I get to see it and put it on.
You're God's gift to Broadway, Rosie.
Oh, well, that is very nice of you. Thank you very much.
I mean, everybody now is seeing that it's like such big business because, you know, of the support you've brought. I mean, the shows are always, you know, wonderful and beautiful, and there's such a plethora of talent and excitement and enthusiasm, but your endorsement on television...
Well, you know, when I was a kid, I could watch the shows on TV. I'd watch them on Ed Sullivan, or Merv and Mike, and I always think the people in the middle of the country who don't have access to Broadway, when they watch the Tonys, they get a little piece of Broadway, or when they watch this show, and then we can encourage the new Stephen Sondheim, who's 8 years old, sitting in Iowa right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, you got your first Broadway musical you ever auditioned for, is that true?
Yeah, I was 21 years old, and I had been signed by an agent when I was a junior in college, but I had to finish school because my father was, you know, finished school. And I was afraid to come to New York because of my father's resistance, but this agent kept calling me, and so he put me in this industrial show so that I could make a living. So I took a leave of absence from the paper and that I was writing on the Fort Worth Press, and I came to New York, and I snuck my little dog into the Barbizon Hotel for Women and called the agent and said, I'm here. And he said, you have an audition in 15 minutes at the American Theater Laboratory. Take your music and go. So I ran down there, and I was the last girl to audition on the last day of auditions for 1776 and got cast in the show my first day in New York City.
Well, that's an unbelievable story, isn't it?
It was great.
Did you think it was going to be that easy from then on, I guess, you know?
Well, I guess I was a little, I got off to this rip-roaring start, and then my second show, which was Promises, 7 months later, they were auditioning for the London Company of Promises, and I auditioned, and I picked the wrong song. It was way too hard. I picked Knowing When to Leave, and I hadn't rehearsed it enough, and so I was in 1776 during the show, and my number was in the first half of the show, and so one of our gentlemen in the show had been called back on Monday, and I knew when the callbacks were, and I had no callback. So I called my agent, and I was like, I have to have a callback. You know, Burt Bacharach scored my life. You know, I have to be up for that show. And he goes, they don't want to see you, Betty. And I'm, So my inner voice said, you know, take off your costume and go to the Schubert Theater and talk to the stage manager. So I took my costume, before the bows, and my dress was, where are you going? I'm like, I'll be back, you know. So I go over to the Schubert, and Charlie Blackwell, this incredible man that was just this divine person, he comes and I said, Mr. Blackwell, my name's Betty Buckley. You don't know me, but I did a terrible audition for you, and I know I can play this part if you just talk to me. I can sing good, but I can take direction, you know, if you'll just help me. And he's like, well, all right, you know, come before the matinee and I'll talk to you about the part, you know. So he talked to me about it and got it straight. And I said, now can I come to the callback? And he said, well, you know, have your agent call on Monday. So I called the agent. I said, you know, you're a big agent, you know, pull in some favors, get me in the door.
Right.
So he's, okay, but don't fail, you know. So I go in and repeat the audition, and I start to leave, and Charlie runs out, and he grabs me, picks me up, swings me, and says, go back, they're calling David Merrick. So I went back, and I repeated my audition for David Merrick and Hal David, Neil Simon, and Burt Bacharach, and they came down and shook my hand, and I was like, oh, you know. So I went over to 6th Avenue to the agent's office, and he left for the day, and I said, I did good. Tell Eric, it was Eric Shepard, this great agent. I said, tell him I did good. So I was going back to the elevator, and all of a sudden I hear these
coming after
secretary running at the elevator, and she says, you got the part, you're going to London.
Oh,
it was really,
isn't that great? You see, sometimes you got to do those extraordinary things.
To go
get it. I've seen you so many times on Broadway, and this Sunday night, dream come true for me. I get to sing with you in the opening number.
Thank you, Rosie.
With Patti LuPone and Jennifer Holliday. It literally is a dream come true. Like, I'm gonna get verklempt. I shouldn't talk about it. Look, my eyes get all... No, because I don't want to do it. Look what I'm doing. Hey, tell us about your piano player. No, because I get all, I'm gonna get all... I'm not even gonna do it. Go ahead. You talk about your piano player. I'm gonna regroup.
My piano player is Kenny Werner, and he's written this fabulous book called Effortless Mastery, which is for musicians or anybody with any kind of artistic expression. If you want to learn to become an effortless master like Kenny, who's a great genius, and so blessed that he plays for me, buy his book. It's at bookstores all around the country.
And while you're there, go into the CD section of your bookstore and pick up Betty Buckley much more. And this Sunday, do me a favor and watch us sing it. Stop it! I'm gonna get on because I remember you up on the... But it's gonna be fabulous, and I thank you for doing it.